out, and the most of you helped with the campaign, and that's who I wanted to be here. And when he ran for Iowa Senate, and we have lots of fun memories, and I do have a little album. If you want to walk down memory lane, there's a little bit of a memory lane there, so you're welcome to look at it. And please help yourself to lemonade, iced tea, and cookies. But so take care of the housekeeping. Oh, and there's restrooms outside past the fireplace. And Khalil just thinks, or is he trying to get some? Oh, is he trying to get all of them?
Yeah,
okay. Oh, okay. So, you wanted to introduce him?
I was going to introduce him.
Yeah, okay. Well, anyway, before we introduce the family, I want to introduce Desmond Adams, and we're so excited to have him running for the 3rd District, and he's the man of the times, and it's a perfect time to boot out David Young. He doesn't have a strong hold on the district, and this is the guy who's going to just blow him away. Desmond Adams.
First, I'd like to say thank you for putting this together. Both Julie and I understand Diane, you all put this together. Thank you. It's kind of like reminds me of old times, the old gang. Thank you very much. Can we get a round of applause from the Way to go. She's clapping for me. Also, before we move any further along, I want to introduce my beautiful family. Actually, come up here, guys, so if they want to take a picture. Khalil Adams is my oldest son. Solomon Adams is my youngest son. And then my beautiful wife, Shondalette. They're my inspiration. I wouldn't be where I am and doing what I'm doing if it wasn't for them. Thank you, guys. So there was an article, a blog or an article written earlier today regarding our campaign announcement, and it titled that Solomon was the best dressed child at a congressional campaign announcement. He won the award for that. That was awesome. And I said he upstaged me, which was great because I had a little, it was exciting and energy was high. So it was great, but he totally, he was sitting there, that's why I'm looking this way, just mesmerizing the crowd, smiling and laughing with his multicolored coat on, which I love, by the way, which I love. Thank you for being here. Let's just kind of jump in there. I'm not going to hold you very long. I'm going to kind of hit some really high points, but I do want to share with you a little bit about me, for those that know me, and for those that don't know me. Want to really kind of bring this forward. Unfortunately, well, better yet, I'm running for Congress. I am Desmond Adams, and I'm running for Congress. I'm running for Congress because of intellectually disingenuous leadership. I'm running for Congress because I want a better future for my kids and for yours. I believe that we can do better. And what we've seen in Congress are a lot of leaders that are continuing not to address our challenges and our problems. They're kicking the can down the street. So much so that we can't even track the issues and the challenges in which they kick the can down the street anymore. And I believe personally that we can do better. I do. I'm a man of bold ideas and solutions. I'm going to give a few of them to you today. First, I believe that we should have a bold energy policy. An energy policy that incorporates clean energy and renewable fuels. Iowa is the leader in wind energy. We're a leader. And also in renewable fuels. However, what you tend to hear are politicians that talk about an all of the above approach. That's what they say. But quote unquote, it's just talk. No one ever tells you what is the all of above approach. See, Democrats might say all of above approach, which means one thing. Republicans might say all of the above approach, which means something else. But the real talk is talking about technology that's geared to position us for tomorrow, not technology that's geared to position us for yesterday. So that's what I'm talking about when I talk about energy independence and moving forward with something sustainable. Additionally to that is education. Oh, you're fine. Additionally to that is education. The business of education. Let's talk about education a little bit. Now, a few of you listened to me speak a little earlier this morning at the public announcement. Let's talk about education. Were you aware, and that, from an education standpoint, were you aware that we have at the top 25 hedge fund managers in the United States of America that are work on Wall Street, top 25 hedge fund managers make more than all of the kindergarten teachers in this nation. Interesting point. Interesting when we talk about from a standpoint of where are our priorities. Well, education is a sore subject right now in the state of Iowa. I know that. Right? Just was vetoed by the governor after coming to a compromise in the House and the Senate. But yet, we're also 38th on the list in this country, in our nation, on our pay to teachers. I don't know about you, but call me crazy. I don't believe that we shouldn't pay the very folks that are going to turn around and do educate our future leaders. Let alone that they pay for and are responsible for both supplies and materials. I don't agree with that either. And when we talk about the business of education, let's also talk about the spiraling out of control college debt situation. $30,000 is the average debt load on a collegiate student that graduates from our universities in the state of Iowa. That hampers ambition. That destroys dreams. We have to get that under control. Bold solution. I believe that community college and vocational training, our students should have free tuition. That's what I believe. If education is what we say it is, and we want to prepare our students for tomorrow, not for yesterday, then why is it that we don't pay for free tuition for our students to community college and vocational training? Every student doesn't want to go to college. Some would rather go to vocational training. Now they may say, well, Desmond, how do we accomplish such a bold initiative? We've heard the president talk about that a little bit. We've heard some other leaders nationally talk about that. Well, I have a thought for you. If we don't cut taxes for the millionaires and the billionaires, then we'd have money that can be applied to what everybody likes to say is so incredibly important, which is education. That's how we pay for free tuition for community college and vocational training. I believe we can do better. I believe we can do better. I really do. another point that along that line. Folks, the working poor is real. This is a reality. The working poor is real. Matter of fact, I came face to face with working poor 72 hours ago. 72 hours ago. So what do I mean? An individual that's striving, working hard, but they're treading water. They don't feel as if they're getting ahead. Why? Well, $7.25 is our federal minimum wage. $7.25. That means that it takes 2 to 3 jobs in a household, which means they're away from their kids. But yet folks talk about family values, but they're away from their kids. We'll leave that alone. I'll pick that back up. I propose $15 an hour. That's what I propose. Because you know what? The average age of a minimum wage employee, a minimum wage worker, is 35. 35. See, remember that intellectually disingenuous leadership I led off with? Intellectually disingenuous people will tell you that, oh, those are high schoolers and $7.25 jobs. They see these 2 little girls, one in high school and one not, and they say, well, if they get a job working at the local restaurant, then that's $7.25. But yet, the average age is 35. It's twice their age. That's not intellectually honest. That's intellectually disingenuous. Over half of those are over 30. The average age is 35, over half is 30. How do we make it? That's difficult on our families. If we're going to talk family values, then let's really talk family values. Let's talk a living wage. A livable wage. Well, Desmond, that's not sustainable. That's what people would tell me. That's not sustainable. How can we do that? This is what I tell you in response. We already pay for it. We pay for it because we subsidize the working poor. You subsidize the working poor. You're already paying for it. I don't believe we should do that. No. I'm sharing. Thank you. I hear you. If it touches you, go for it. But I'm telling you that I believe it's time. We can do better. It's time. We must do better. It is time. It's time. Let me tell you. Let me stand really close over here. I want to stand very, very close. Because I'm passionate about what I'm going to share to you right here, right now. Republicans do not own God and they do not own morality. They don't. If they did, then a living wage, equal and quality public education for all, and equal pay for equal work regardless of gender would not be an issue. It would be an imperative. But it's not, because they're being intellectually disingenuous. Folks, it's time. It's time for new leadership. It's time for our leaders to take our concerns and advocate on our behalf. It's time. And I want you to know I'm that leader right here, right now, at this moment, I'm that leader, and I want to take to Washington, D.C., a uniting spirit and the leadership that we deserve in Congressional District 3. Now, thank you for coming. I'm open for a few questions. Anybody? It's your time. All right.
What do you feel about No Child Left Behind reauthorization?
No Child Left Behind authorization. Well, No Child Left Behind, it's interesting. The big talk that I keep hearing about is Common Core. I don't hear as much about No Child Left Behind because that was that was a federally unfunded mandate that people were pushing as opposed to Common Core as a state issue. I think that if we're going to focus on our kids, it has to be what I do like about the Common Core, though, is at least that was a brain trust of our educators and intellectuals that came together to figure out what knowledge base is going to take for us to talk about moving forward. I'm all for education that positions our kids for tomorrow. That's what I'm for. If the education is not positioning them for tomorrow, because tomorrow is different than yesterday, as simple as that sounds, but we have so many intellectually disingenuous people. They like to argue about yesterday, move the ball, and then all of a sudden folks look up and you say, where are we headed? We need to talk about addressing issues for tomorrow. I appreciate that. All right. Thank you, guys.